Does happiness make us smarter? So in this video, we're going to address that claim by looking at the scientific literature. I have 3 studies for you, 2 of them in children, 1 in adults, actually in doctors or physicians. And we'll explore how it is that happiness seems to kind of make us smarter. When we say smarter, I'm going to think about that in terms of learning, decision making or problem solving, and even goal pursuit and goal achievement. So let's get into that, right? We tend to think generally that it's like if I want to achieve more or learn more or be smarter, then it's like I have to work harder. And then once I get more, achieve more, do more, learn more, then I will be more successful and then I'll be happier. And it's true that goal achievement and goal pursuit, a sense of progress, can actually help us to feel happier and feel better. But it may be that happiness will actually help us to be more successful and more effective and smarter when it comes to problem solving, learning, etc. Right? It may be that it actually goes the opposite way that we tend to think. And that's what we see in some of these papers. So as I said, the first 2 are in children, and they looked at goal setting and goal achievement in one of them, and then learning in the other. So in the first study, and of course the references are down below, but in the first study they looked at children and they broke them into 2 groups. So a happy mood and a sad mood. And they did something called induction or priming, which is they basically say to one group, hey, can you just close your eyes and think of something that really makes you feel happy and excited and just feel good. And then same thing with another group, close your eyes and try to imagine something that makes you sad. They then had the children pick or sort of set a goal for it. It was like a simple problem solving task. And it was basically like, how many problems will you get through in 5 minutes? So set the goal and then set the timer and have them actually do it. And so it turns out that the group that was made to feel happy or feel more positive had set significantly higher goals and then actually achieved those goals more effectively than the sad group. So they're sort of being more aggressive or maybe more optimistic in what they think they can accomplish, but then they are actually more likely to accomplish it. So you see higher goals and higher goal achievement in the happy group. Now, in a fairly similar study, also in children, they looked at how this affected learning. And so same thing, except they had happy mood, sad mood, and neutral mood. And fairly similar protocol, but found that children who were in the happy mood had significantly higher learning performance than those in the neutral group. And of course, that was higher than in the sad group. So what we see is when it comes to learning and kind of achieving our goals or setting our goals, being in a happy or positive mood tends to improve performance. And this seems to stand, I think you can extrapolate this out as well. I haven't looked at specific studies on this, but extrapolating out for adults as well. And part of the reason I say that is because of this next study, which did look at adults, because we don't know many 8-year-old children who are working as physicians. So in this study, they looked at groups of doctors and they had them in kind of a neutral mood, or they gave them this little gift that would kind of put them in a positive mood. And now here's what they did, very clever protocol. They had these doctors basically think out loud as they tried to solve a case. So they gave them a file with some information about like a made up patient, but obviously that information was designed in a way that would lead them to a conclusion that this patient had, I think it was liver disease. And so the physician would read it and sort of verbally say, oh, because we see this symptom, then I think it might be this. And because of that, I think that. And so they would basically reason through it. And they captured that transcript and they had 2 experts, medical experts, rate the quality of that physician's thinking or problem solving. So they looked at 2 things. How quickly did the physician, he or she, get to the diagnosis? And to what extent did they have anchoring? So now anchoring, not to get too in the weeds here, it's basically a cognitive bias where you think you have the right answer and so you try to justify it and you sort of get stuck in your reasoning. And so oftentimes a lack of anchoring is what's known as flexibility in your problem solving. So you're thinking through all these different scenarios and you don't kind of get stuck on one of them. And it kind of relates to like your clarity of thought, right? If you're free of anchoring or you have limited anchoring, you kind of examine all the options, very quickly iterate through them, and then move towards the right answer. So they rated these transcripts and found that physicians who were in the happy or more positive mood arrived at the correct diagnosis in about half the time. That's right. So they were like twice as fast in getting to the right diagnosis, and they exhibited far less of that kind of anchoring to their previous guesses. And so they had about 3 times the cognitive or intellectual flexibility, as it's called, in their reasoning. So again, we see we're kind of drawing the line here from children to adults, that we're in a happy mood. We are better, in this case, right? Physicians are very intelligent people. They are better at problem solving, getting to the right answer more quickly, and have more flexibility in their reasoning. Now, why might this be? Well, this starts to get a little bit more speculative because it gets into some kind of complex research in neuroscience, but typically when we're in a good mood, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, which can be kind of cognitive performance enhancers. They can increase drive and motivation to kind of seek and think critically and search for that right answer. And they may also help to facilitate kind of neural connections, right? So that we are a bit more creative and a bit more innovative in our solutions. But the bottom line from the research is this, is that when you're in a happy mood or a good mood, you're going to set higher goals and be better at achieving them. You're going to have better performance when it comes to learning, and your problem solving and reasoning are going to be better, all because you're in a good mood. So what is the kind of protocol or implication for that? Well, there are many things you can do to improve your mood, which you can find all over my channel because that's a lot of what I teach. But generally, it's saying that if you're going into any bout of cognitive performance or study or problem solving or working on a project, try to do something that elevates your mood from baseline, right? So that could be something physical, right? Smiling, jumping around, doing something, listening to music. It could be just thinking about a person, a place, a thing that really makes you feel happy. It could be listening to your favorite song or thinking about some jokes, even having a short conversation with someone who you really enjoy being around. All of those things are going to elevate your mood and put you in a more effective state to do whatever it is that you're getting after. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the connection between happiness and performance, or happiness in this case, kind of intellect and cognitive performance. As always, on my channel, you can find plenty of videos that will help you to be happier in both work and in life, drawing from the scientific literature, as well as some of the arts and philosophy. So here's a video that YouTube suggests you'll like. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.